Hello, hello, and welcome, everyone. I am your host, Lizzie, with LizyT Show here in Toronto, Canada. It is Monday. I am so excited to be able to be back. Another show, another guest, another incredible story. Oh my goodness, I am so pumped up today. I know you know that Mondays and to Friday are my favorite days because that's when I get to talk to you. That's when I get to interact with you. And that's when I get to introduce to you incredible artists, incredible guests, incredible authors. And talking about authors, today is not going to be an exception. So pumped up to be able to inspire you just a little bit. So if you're watching today, now, or later on, because this is recorded throughout the social media, as you can probably guess, we are all over Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, IGTV, my goodness, Instagram and Periscope and Pinterest. The list goes on and on. And as you can see by the screen, we are introducing another author. We've gone through waves, right? We have uh, authors, we have singer-songwriters, entrepreneurs, business. Uh, we are also doing this month Woman on Fire. As some of you know, we are sponsoring again Woman on Fire event, which I would love to mention very quickly because this is my guest's moment, but I'm gonna steal a couple of minutes. So August, April the 22nd and 23rd, we are again doing Woman on Fire. I'm sponsoring the event. I can't wait to see you there. People from all over the world are coming, not only here in Canada and the United States, but they're coming from other parts of the world. So get your ticket if you haven't gotten your tickets yet. Okay, so let's talk about our guest. Yes, um, is all the way from beautiful United States in California. And his name, as you can see on the screen, is Manuel Fernandez. He is an actor and a writer. He has appearance on television and the theater. He has trained under such an actor as Chaz Palminteri, and he's taped from Tom Sizemore. He is a writer and award winner, screenplayer, Forgotten Memories, and Sins of the Past and Breath. Wow, very accomplished fellow. And I am so honored to be able to talk about another edition because he it's just published an incredible book. We're going to talk all about that, this book, and all about his life. And hopefully, like I said earlier, be able to inspire you just a little bit, just one person that gets something out of this interview or this conversation. I am done. That is my goal. I am fulfilled. So let's welcome him with a wonderful round of applause. Hello, Manuel, and welcome to the LizyT Show here in virtually. Welcome to Canada.
Thank you. I appreciate that applause, man. I was like, wow, this is great.
Applause are good. One of the things that, especially, I started doing this because singers, in the last 2 years with the lockdowns and all that, singers didn't have a platform to perform, and they were suffering. And I thought about it. One of the things that motivates a singer is the applause, the interaction, to feel the warmth of the audience. And so I started looking for something that would give them that little extra so they were able to perform. And then I just included the last 2 years. I have included in every of my shows because it helped us, right? It motivated us, and it gives us a little extra that we need. So let's talk about you, because look at you, actor, you're also a writer, you're a screenplayer. My goodness, was life always this excited for you, or you had that little that boring set of you, and all of a sudden you realize I am missing out. I need to develop my creativeness that has been inside of me all of my life. Take us way back for my audience to be able to get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. My life wasn't always that exciting. It was far from it. I grew up in a suburban neighborhood, and then my mother and my stepfather got divorced, and that's when everything just kind of went downhill. I started getting in trouble. I was into drugs, gangs. I got jumped into a gang when I was 15 years old. I was in and out of the foster system, and what saved me was martial arts. And I tell people this to this very day. If it wasn't for martial arts, I'd be dead right now or in prison. And so from there, it just kind of like escalated where I learned, what a man, or not well, a man, but per se, but also somebody just living in regular society should act like. Um, so, got a job working in an office for about 12 years, making good money. And then I got laid off. But during that time, I went to acting class. And the the funny thing was that how I found acting, writing was, and then this is kind of a deep, dark secret, but I have a one man play, and I talk about this. So I went through a really bad breakup. I went through depression, anxiety. I felt like, life just wasn't worth living. And then I made a decision one day, and just to commit suicide. I was just, had my mind made up, bought a gun, was gonna kill myself, and then all of a sudden, um, I Breaking Bad came on the television, and there was a scene to where there was a cartel member, and he was really, really like out of his mind, just whack out of his mind, um, on drugs, and he's just crazy. And for some reason, my mind went to, God, that's really, really interesting and cool. You know, I want to do that. I mean, not be a cartel member, but acting. And I'm like, God, I want to do that. And I picked up the phone. I put down the gun, and I picked up the phone, and I scrolled through the internet, and I found an acting studio by my house. Started acting, going on auditions. Eventually got some jobs on some television shows, and then and also that's where my writing picked up too. And then I was invested in it, and it's kind of a weird dynamic, because if I wasn't watching that show, Breaking Bad, that particular day, that particular time, I don't know what would have happened, or if I'd even be here. But so the jump to the arts is, it's pretty dark, how I got there. But yeah,
One thing that I found very interesting, Manuel, is that you always had it's like God always, and by the way, I do believe in God, because I know this is not a religious show,
yeah,
but I want to be able to express myself, and thanks to freedom of speech, we can do that.
yeah,
I don't say creator, I said God, but anyhow, um, you were spared several times
yeah,
in your life. One, when you were really young and you went to martial arts and you were able to find hope, a meaning in life, be able to focus in something else other than the horrible breakup that you had, that your parents had. Then it was something else, and then acting, right? You
yeah,
started. So I find that every chance you go through your up and downs, there's always something that guides you towards a good ending. And obviously none of us are here for a total good ending because 10 to 10 die, right?
Yeah.
But we have purpose for the time being that we're here. And that's one of the things that I find that amazing about your life, is that there is everyone that is watching right now, we do have a purpose, there is a meaning of why we're here. And I'm very, very excited that you had several times in your life when it's not your time yet, I want you to focus on this, it's not your time, this, I want you to focus on acting, it's not your time yet, I want you to focus on your writing. And
Yeah.
for you to be able to put the gun down, which is, and I appreciate for you to share this
Yeah.
intimate thoughts and intimate story with my audience. This is, it makes you feel very vulnerable. I completely understand, but I appreciate you sharing that, because there is someone out there in this planet, in this beautiful world that God has created, that needs to hear that. And hopefully you're not going through, but if you are, you can get a little bit, tiny bit of hope. And the consequence to your struggle and trials and tribulations, you were able to write an incredible book, which we're going to talk about that. And I guess that's one of the things in your life had inspired you
Yeah.
to write this, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, 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 definitely. And what you say, it because differently. My I mean, trials, tribulations. That there were times when I was going to die. Like, when I was a kid, I've been shot at. I've been stabbed. I've lived on the streets. As a teenager for some time. So a lot of it made me who the person who I am today. And for me, it's I look at life differently. I look at it more of a blessing than just kind of being here, and more of like, okay, um, I want to accomplish something. So okay, so what do I need to do? I mean, so for me, it's about building goals, and one of the things that I started doing about 5 years ago was it was every New Year, January 1st, what I would do is I would say, okay, you know what, this year I'm going to learn something new, whatever it is, like a language, or work out more, or just whatever it is. Last year it was Spanish. This year it's playing learning the piano. So so for me, I'm a very self motivating guy, and I have to, and that's when my brain kind of is crazy, because it's like I have to be doing 100 different things at once, and if I'm not, then I don't feel normal, and I know that's not normal, but it's one of those things to where I want to learn more stuff. I want to engage, meet more people, meet different people that are from different genres, or that know more than me. So I pick their brain, and I become the best version of myself, and then maybe I can uh, uh, you know instill that knowledge, or pass that knowledge off to somebody who needs it. Just like you were saying, that there's somebody here, in this world that is going through probably something that I went through.
Yes,
And
for
yeah,
sure, Manuel. And one of the things that I'm not sure if you're doing yet, but if you're not, I mean, you definitely should go to schools and talk about your story and inspire people, because especially the last 2 years,
yeah,
we've gone through lockdowns, we've gone through, the pandemic, we've gone through suicide rate had grown, more than in the last 10 years. So people need to hear, especially young people, they need to hear your story, and they need to see where you came from, how many steps in your life, from drugs to gang member to all of to try to commit suicide. All of those things are very, very important. And I am sure, Manuel, that your life has a huge purpose to be able to leave a legacy for others that are struggling from exactly the same thing. Obviously, let's talk about your book. I mean, you got inspired to write. Tell us the name of the book, and number one, and where can people find it?
Yeah, definitely. The name of the book is called the Rocky Approach to Life, and it's basically what it is. It's I, I talk about all the life lessons, mostly the the trials and the tribulations from all the Rocky Balboa movies. So and you can kind of um, instill and learn from it. Like and it's mostly I would say when you're basically knocked out. It's because um, in the Rocky movies, there's you know in in every movie there's a character, and I call it the hill. So in the first Rocky there was Apollo Creed, and second Rocky Apollo, third Clubber Lang, and Drago in the fourth, and so the better kind of like Rocky got, the more that he had to climb that mountain. And then when he
Hmm.
did climb it and he achieved it, right? Then it was like, okay, he has to climb a different one. And for me, it's all about like what I got out of the movies and why I wrote the book was, and I wrote it at a very, like I said, a dark time in my life where
I
I was
can imagine.
a breakup, and it just, I mean, it killed me. And what got me through the breakup was the Rocky movies. And just because in every movie, he's down and out, and he doesn't know how to get back up on that mountain.
By the way, when you got invested in martial arts,
Yeah.
was it boxing that you took, or karate? What was it?
Karate. Yeah, it was
Karate. Okay.
kanji.
Yes, very good.
Yeah. So, and one of the chapters that I talk about, which I think everybody can relate to, was it's called Halftime. And what it's about is I talk about, okay, the first half of your life, maybe you didn't get that promotion, or your life isn't going the way that you wanted to. But the thing is that, okay, just don't sit on the sideline and and take what life has given you. Go out and go, you know what? I'm 30 years old, I'm 40 years old, 50, I'm not happy, but I still have time left. So it's the equivalent of, let's say, a basketball team or football team just getting their tails kicked. And the first half, and they go into the locker room and they map out a game plan to go to the second half. It's the same thing with life. And a lot of times, like, I hear and I talk to people from all ages that well, I'm married, I did this, or I'm divorced, and I don't have the time, and I'm just gonna live life. And what I see is that they're just running out the clock, and that's just no way to live. Because then what are you doing? All you're doing is you're working to live. You're not enjoying life. And it's not going to be easy, of course, but you can always just go back into the locker room and go, you know what? I'm going to map out a plan. I don't like how my life is going. I'm going to map it out. And look, I'm going to stumble, because the thing is that if you're not failing, you're not trying. And we're all going to fail.
Mhm.
All of us. I failed more times than I care to. So
Mhm. One of the things that I love about this is that you, even though you've had, again, so many issues in your life and so many um, challenges. I don't like to use other words other than challenges because all of us have. Some of us
Yeah,
greater than others and some of us are easier than others, but we all have challenges.
yeah,
And one of the things that I love that what you said is that you put yourself new goals every year, and if it's not working out, then you manage to get yourself into a different mindset.
yeah.
And for people that are watching us right now or later on, by the way, the book is right on Amazon. Any other place can people get your book?
Yeah, on Amazon and also on Lulu.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, who would you say is the most uh, the person that will get the most benefit out of this book?
I think everybody. I think anybody who's going through, whether it's a midlife crisis or a change in their personal life, um, because it teaches you more about yourself, I think, than anything. Because you have all these, like, gurus on, and like, well, you need to, do this and you need to do that, and it's like, well, no. And one of the things that I've learned from the first Rocky movie was when he got the shot, and to face Apollo Creed, the world heavyweight champion. And Rocky was just an average fighter, right? And he basically just won the lottery. So the night before, what he's doing is he's talking to his girlfriend, and he goes, you know what? I don't care if I beat, if I beat Apollo Creed, and win the title. All I want to do is go to distance. If I go to distance with Creed for the entire time, even if I lose, in my mind, I've won. So for me, it's like it doesn't, what other people's interpretation of winning is doesn't matter. It's what your interpretation is, and what makes you feel good. If it's okay, uh, my friend and I are training for triathlon or a marathon, whatever, right? And they're going to go 10 miles, and you're like, you know what? If I only go two today, then I've won. And it doesn't matter what other people think, or how other people perceive it, because other people, especially nowadays, because there's so much like negativity, is they love to knock people down. And it's the toughest thing is to get back up. It really is. The toughest thing is to get back up.
Actually, you just gave me the perfect segue to ask you my next question. Some people probably know you as then, way back then, and they're probably watching or they heard of you, or now that they might be seeing you here in Canada on the LizyT Show. What would you say is the response? And that's when we get the naysayers sometimes
Yeah.
knocking us down. What so far of your life as a writer? Published international author, because now you're being sold here in Canada. We will definitely promote your book as much as possible.
Right.
And what is the response? I mean, I assume that your closest friend, the ones that love you the most, they're going to be 100% supportive. But love to hear what the response from the audience in regards to your book is.
Yeah. Yeah. First off, I love Canada. Never been there, but I do want to go because I heard nothing but great things about Canada, and the people are so friendly. So I'm looking forward to actually take. Yeah, it's like I said, there's so much negativity in this world, and people just love to beat you down. And like I said, the hardest thing is to get back up. And it's easy to say, you know what, I don't care what this person thinks, and I don't care. And for me, I kind of faked it, and I would say that, especially when I was writing my first novel, or and acting in my first theater play, and television show. And there was a lot of naysayers. I mean, even like my own family some of them, the majority of my family are really supportive, but there was, a couple times, my family members were like, okay, that's great, but you probably should get a real job, after this gig runs out. And for me, it's like, well, this is what I love to do. And I think a lot of times what happens is that people try to bring you down to their level because a lot of times people just don't want to take that chance because they're afraid. And I get it because I was that way for a long time. But like I said, earlier I said, if you're not failing, then you're not trying. And I think the more that you fail, this might sound really weird to say, but failing is good for me.
Mhm.
I didn't learn a darn thing
Mhm.
when everything was going great for me. Nothing. But when I was like on the brink of, nervous breakdown, and I just, man, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I just, this sucks. This is terrible. And I hate it. And, I have no direction. That's
Mhm.
when I learned everything. That's when like the light clicked and it's like, okay, all right.
One of the things that you said, and hopefully you that are watching today, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe next week, don't worry, this is recorded. Um, a lot of people they don't like or they're afraid of your success because they have their own ideas of what they should be doing as well,
Yeah,
and they don't have the courage to do it. So by them looking at you and see how many times you fail or who
yeah,
you were in the past and who do you think you can be in the present, so
yeah,
that's fear on them,
yeah,
and they're trying to show that negativity towards you because they probably have dreams of their own that they would have liked to fulfilled or accomplish, and they're not able to. So one of the greatest thing that I've done, and I get the same criticism myself,
mhm,
Manuel, not to worry, I'm not no different. And one of the things that I protect myself, and I realize that not everybody will like Lizzie, and Lizzie will not like everyone. So
right,
I don't make sure I don't. I realize that my show is not going to be for everyone, and I'm okay with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And so I think one of the things that you're going to have to come to the realization that Manuel is writing and acting is not for everyone, but there is definitely for some people, and those are the
yeah,
people that you want to have close to you. Those are the people that you want to be hanging around with, and
right,
those dreamers and those people that take the chance, not the ones that are don't want to have to take the chance
yeah,
themselves. So now that you're writing, and this, as you can see here, everyone, the book is right there on the screen in Amazon. I'm hoping that you can get a copy yourself. This is, I assume, this is your first published book. Are you planning of writing a second one, or are you on the works of writing a second one? And
yeah,
what's the plans for the future?
yeah. Actually, I wrote a novel
Wow.
a couple years back, and it's more crime noir. So, but this this is my first nonfiction book that I wrote, and
It's a little
it's
bit of a biography as well, right?
um a little, yeah, 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 yeah. But it's more of how the Rocky, all the trials and the tribulations from the Rocky movies, how I incorporated in my life, and how somebody else can learn from that. And yeah, but I felt the need to write it because for me I love to write fiction, and whether it's short stories, novel, or screenplays. But I felt that I needed to write this just because like I said, at the time that I wrote it, I was in such a dark place that it helped me. It was therapeutic. I'm like, well, maybe somebody else, because Rocky's. I mean, he's loved worldwide in the movies, and it's so. I think, well, maybe somebody not just in the states here, but in other countries, will relate to that, or pick some of that knowledge up, and maybe it'll help them. Um, So for me, yeah, it was more therapeutic to write this because, like I said, for me, I write crime noir, drama. So
Most of the writers that I've met, and I've been doing this for a little while, and even including myself, most of the books that people write are all part of a big therapy, and some
mhm,
people ended up journaling just so they can get things out of them, and
yeah,
just kind of a sort of a relief, like a pill, right? A
yeah,
natural way of medicine.
yeah,
And all of a sudden it turns into a book. So
yeah,
absolutely, it's one of the best way of overcoming trauma or something that the person went through, including myself. Some of you know that I wrote my story as well about being abused, and it was definitely difficult, but it is definitely therapy. So you're doing your writing, and you're also acting. Does acting is part of therapy as well? Obviously, not only that, I mean, it pays the bill because you're able to work. But how the acting part it is part of becomes part of your life, like what do you like about that? And I understand that writing, you wanted to leave a legacy, you want to be able to tell the story, you want to be able to for people to identify with their own difficulties through Rocky. And I love the title, by the way. Great. Was it self-published, by the way?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So acting, where's that fit?
The acting. I don't want to say it's therapeutic. It's more of an obsession. It's one of those things to where I got into acting to step out of my life, even if it's for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or whatever, and to get and to be somebody else, and to be that person, and have a different life, different culture, different values, right? Uh, and for that's one of theater is you can you can rehearse and be that person for you know 2 3 hours a day, and then you'll have like a 2 month run at a show, and you're that person. And it's not I won't say it's therapeutic, but it's more of excitement, because like I said, you're somebody else, and you're being somebody else. You're thinking how that person would think, not how Manuel would think, or whoever. Um, and That's why I love theater. Movies, and television shows are great, because they uh, they pay more, uh, but it's almost they sometimes it's a writers, kind of like want
Mm.
to rush you to be this character instead of really kind of taking the time and thinking about, okay, well, what does this guy or girl think? What How did they get here? And I go to that place, and I more of the psychological aspect of the character.
It's a little bit more like, escapism. Like, it's
Yeah,
really nice to pretend for a day or 2, a month, whatever time,
yeah,
what would it be like to be someone else and not me, especially if you're going through, rough times at the time and you wanna be able naturally and healthy. It's a very psychological, it's like going through therapy, but,
yeah,
uh, pretending that you do not have those problems because you're not Manuel, you're Alexander today, or
yeah.
because you do look like a Russian fellow. You could definitely pass for. I don't know if you have the accent down, but you can definitely pass for a Russian person.
I could pass.
If you have if you've got a part in a movie or something like that. So
Yeah,
absolutely, I can relate. I can understand, and good for you. Again, you have so many ways of overcoming where you are and how to be to go forward. And I think that's great. I mean, a lot of people that are watching this will be able to see, wow, if I'm going through what I'm going through and Manuel is able to overcome it, why shouldn't I now? I'm not different or better than him, but I have the same issues. So I think people will definitely relate with your story and will with your book, and hopefully you will be able to pick up your copy as well at Amazon and follow this guy. Talking about follow, are you on social media right now? If it's somebody that is watching would like to connect with you, either from Canada, or we have many viewers from United States, that Europe and Australia. So good morning to my Australian listener. How can people follow you?
Yeah, I am on Facebook under Manuel Fernandez, and I am on Instagram at the Manuel Fernandez. Um, and I also have a one man play coming up, talking about how I grew up, in gangs, juvenile hall, how my stepfather was a drug dealer, and just being around that environment. So I'm going to be posting some some updates about that on my, on Facebook and Instagram about um, the next my next show, and I'm also going to be posting probably about 5 or 10 minute excerpts of my show on Instagram and my Facebook page. And I think a lot of people will get, like I said, in the Rocky story and in my one man play that's coming up. I think there's something for everybody, because even if you didn't relate to, okay, growing up with gangs or this, but you related to, like, getting abused, because I fell into that same category. I was sexually abused as a kid, and physically abused.
Mm,
So, and I think, and I applaud you for
thank you.
coming out and saying that. And I think when people do come out, it's like, okay, well, you know what, I can come out and tell my story. Maybe
Hmm.
it'll help somebody else, and then it's like a domino effect,
It
and that
is.
person, that person, and it just keeps going and going. But it's such a hard thing to do, just to come out and say it, because you don't want to be judged. And in my cases, it was like, okay, well, maybe there was something wrong with me. And as how I grew up, in a household where, as a man, you didn't talk about your feelings, and especially if you got sexually molested or you got beat up. No, 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 you do not do that. So,
Hmm.
and it's just all, male misogynistic, stuff that I saw as a kid from my stepfather. But
Mm,
as I got older, it's like, well, no, you have to tell your story, even if it's well, the bad ones. And this will sound really, weird, but the bad stories resonate with people, because it's like,
hmm.
I went through that. I can
Hmm.
get over it. If that person got through it, and look at him now, him or her now,
Hmm.
through. So it gives them hope.
And one of the things that me and you try to achieve is just we're not going to reach everyone,
Yeah, no,
right? But
no,
there's one person out there, just that one girl that is going through what I went through, and one boy out there in the world that is going through what you went through.
yeah,
And those are the only people that we want to reach. It's just one person out there.
yeah,
And good kudos to you again, Emmanuel. You complimented me, but I complimented you and applaud you for doing what you're doing. And not it's not easy. Not like we're trying to get accolades or praises here. Uh this, like you said, is therapy. It's sharing and helping maybe one person out there.
yeah,
And kudos to you for doing it. Congratulations, and very proud of you of that. And even if you don't get to tell this often, I want to make sure that you get told that by me, that that you are very, very well, thank you for doing what you're doing. So absolutely. The show that you're doing, you're telling your story, is that going to be online or is that going to be in a theater or and do you have any dates for people to be able to follow you and watch? I know you're going to have little previews or sneak or little teasers for people to be able to see them on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no set dates so far. What I've
No
been doing,
worries.
yeah, I've been performing like short excerpts over the summer and in the wintertime over at the Marsh in San Francisco. Um, I'm in talks right now, and with a producer and a director about doing a full run, and we're actually looking and my show it's about hour and 20 minutes. But what I want to do is I want to put 10-minute excerpts, like on my Facebook page or Instagram page. So that way people kind of get the gist and the idea of what I'm talking about, what I went through, and so they have a better understanding, like, about, God, okay, man, well, that guy, because because I'll be honest, the first, I mean, the entire play is pretty dark, because I don't I don't hold back. I talk about the times that I was abused, sexually, physically, by my mom's boyfriend. I talk about my first drive-by that I ever saw when I was in a gang. I talk about the times that I was in juvenile hall, what I had to do to survive. So uh, I'm really, I put myself out there for a reason, because, like I said, uh, a lot of times people, who have been abused or who go through that,
Mhm.
just are like, well, I don't want to share this with anybody. But then when you see somebody out there who tells their story, and that can resonate, and
Mhm.
because I mean, and physical and mental abuse, it's especially, it's, physical abuse, it can tear a person apart. I mean,
Mhm.
you can
Mhm.
live with that for the rest of your life, and you know sometimes people just are not the same, and it's just it's sad, you
Mhm.
know.
Absolutely. So 1 hour and 20 minutes. This is all solo. Do you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a cast?
just me, just me.
Wow. Wow.
I play, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to count how many. I play about 15 different characters.
Wow.
So yeah. Yeah.
Very gifted. My goodness. I don't think anybody can pull that off. I guess you can. Wow, that is incredible. So we're anxious to know. Let us know when the dates are so we can help you to promote that as well. Again, we will be advertising your book here for a little while, which is going to be great for people to purchase it. And any new thing that comes up, let us know because we'll love to help you out with promoting and telling the world that hey, you have problems, I have problem, we have problem. Let's help
God, problems.
each
Yeah,
other together, and let's not keep it inside because those are the people that sometimes don't make it because
yeah,
they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel uh confident enough or even have the courage, and
yeah.
that's really what the big word is, the courage to say. It takes a lot of courage
A lot of courage.
to be able to tell your story, and I applaud you for taking the courage and doing this. It takes a lot, so congratulations.
Thanks.
I can't believe we've been here for about almost 50 minutes, but it's been a pleasure, Manuel, talking to you, getting to know your story, uh have sharing, being vulnerable with us here, and I know it's difficult. All people can understand how difficult it must be, but I appreciate you. I appreciate sharing this with my audience, and we wish you all the best. This book has to be a huge one, number one, if it comes from us to help you out. But I'd love to hear anything else, any last word for my audience, Manuel.
Yeah. It doesn't matter I'll say this, like I said, because we live in, and I know I'm redundant, a little bit, but um, a lot of negativity, and a lot of times people just want to put other people down, and they get off on that, which is I never understood that. But doesn't matter where you are in your life, if you're 20, if you're 50, if you're 60, if you're 80, it's it doesn't matter. If you're tired of where you're at in life, uh, make a change and don't be afraid to fail. Because, like I said, if you're not failing, you're not trying.
Love it. If you're not failing, you're not trying. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks again, Manuel, for being here with us.
Thank you.
It's been an honor and a pleasure having you learning about your life. Another great, I can consider you a friend from our beautiful brothers and sisters in the States.
We
And
are friends.
keep up,
We are,
keep
yes.
up the good work. We appreciate you. We honor you. And thank you for being here with us again, sharing your incredible story and everything that you've gone through. And I know it was a difficult thing to do, but you did it. You did it. It's always great to have someone like you here. So we'll talk to you soon, everyone. And we'll be back with another guest, another show here in the LizyT Show. Make it a blessed day. Bye bye for now.